Yo, 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 another guitar lesson here for you guys. Back at it here with the YouTube videos. Hoping this helps. And as always, if you guys, anybody watching has any suggestions, please just leave a comment. Anything you want to know about music theory, about guitar, how to apply it to the guitar. Any and all questions are welcomed. So today I'm going to talk about something that I think a lot of students and a lot of guitar players struggle with a little bit, and it is just in regards to playing the changes. So playing changes is basically, to me, it's just kind of if you're at that point where you want to play the changes in a song. In other words, you want to be able to move with the chords. You're not just playing by ear. We all typically start by just, this song's in A minor. Here's my A minor pentatonic scale. And we play. And we have fun. And it is fun. And then we start to realize that a lot of the things we're doing when we're playing by ear and we're not fully understanding it, we tend to play a lot of the same things because it's just kind of our go-to. And we know it sounds good, so it's comfortable, but then over time it starts to sound stale and things get a little, you could say even boring at times because it's the same, you just keep playing the same things over and over again. And so playing changes really helps you get out of that, and it also just deepens your understanding, your music appreciation, and then your ability to say more musical things. Now, the thing about it is when you start playing changes, your patience is really important, but also just understanding that how comprehensive this is. So, the first thing you want to do is instead of trying to play the changes to a song with like 5 or 6 chords moving around every measure, what you want to do is you want to learn first how to just move between 2 chords. And you want to be able to sit with each chord for a while. Okay? So, for example, I'm just going to suggest, and I suggested this to one of my recent students as well, we're going to take a C major chord and then a G major chord. And we're just going to play those back and forth. Okay? And we're going to play the changes to these chords. And what I mean by that is we're going to play the triad. There's 3 notes in each chord, and we're just going to locate these notes so that when the chord changes, we move into these shapes here. So, and now one thing that you really want to lock into is understanding that when you're working with C to G, and you study a little bit of music theory, you're doing more than just learning how to move back and forth between C and G. And I'm going to show you kind of how that works. So if I practice playing C to G, let's just say I do it right here. You can hear the chords C, G, C, G. So let's say I focus on this part of the guitar. And let's say you practice that and you get pretty good at it. Now, as you practice, you might get a little frustrated because it's hard and it takes some time. But what you don't realize that you should realize is going to help you kind of push through some of the times where you're just kind of, it seems like a drag, it seems like a lot of work. What you might not realize is you're learning more than just C to G. So let me just kind of show you everything you're learning. You're learning in the key of C, you're learning the relationship between the 1 and the 5 chord. Okay? Now you're training your ear to hear that movement 1 to 5. Okay? And you're also learning the pattern 1 to 5 in this one spot of the guitar. Now check this out. If you have a 1 to 5 movement, let's say in D, just move up a whole step. You move that shape up a whole step. So you got 1, D, 5, which is A. Okay, so let's take a look at that. That means when you're learning this, C to G, you're learning 1 to 5. Not just in the key of C, in every key, the shape is the same. That doesn't mean you don't need to practice those. You definitely should. Like, for example, I'm going to do C sharp to G sharp. That's kind of a weird key, but if I know the shape, it should work. I just start the shape here. Same thing, okay? So, and you can hear the relationship's the same. So all I did was pick 2 chords. Now it helps if you pick 2 popular movements. So 1 to 5 is a very popular movement. Now back on track here. So when you're working on C to G, you're working on a 1 to 5 in all 12 keys. All you have to do is move it up and down the neck, okay? But also, if let's say we're in the key of G, that's 1 now, and C is 4. So you're also working on a 4 to 1 movement. 4, 1. So and that's in all 12 keys. Okay? So the amount of work you're putting in is actually, it's kind of almost exponential of what you're learning. This is what is rarely understood by guitar players and musicians in general. And this is kind of overlooked, especially because a lot of people don't want to spend time learning the theory. And so the theory really helps you to utilize all the information at hand and combined it all. And it's kind of like I was telling a student the other day, a lot of people that play music, a lot of people that are learning, it's kind of like they're trying to make this big snowball, but they just collect a bunch of little snowballs and they just kind of place them around, but they're not connecting any of them. Okay? We really want to just focus on seeing how everything we learn correlates with each other. So the major scale, the scale degrees, that's really the heart of the one snowball in this analogy. And so that's what I say 1 to 5. I mean the first note, the first chord of the major scale to the 5th chord of the major scale, or the 4th chord of the major scale to the 1st chord of the major scale. This is just the framework that we're using, and this helps simplify everything. And when you see things this way, you're literally learning thousands and thousands of songs that have already been written that you probably know and love, and someday you want to play. There's parts of songs you know that specifically go from C to G, but maybe they don't go from C to G. Maybe they go from D to A, or maybe they go from E to B, right? So in any key, the 1 to 5 motion is just such a big part of music. So I know whenever I first started learning this stuff, I didn't quite see the connections. I didn't quite understand. I just kind of took it on faith. And, I didn't really get many people explaining this stuff to me, but I just love it so much. I just kept going. And now I think a lot of people get a little just frustrated at times because they don't see where it's headed. And now that I see how fruitful this stuff is, I'm just wanting to share this with everybody. So Hit me up if you have any questions. This is kind of more of a philosophy. It's not much of a specific lesson, I guess. I guess I would just say find a spot on the guitar like I was doing here and find your triad and just move back and forth between. I mean, it sounds so musical because it is, obviously. But and you know that obviously start in one spot, spread it out over the fretboard, and then just move it around and you're changing keys. And then check it out. Maybe check out some songs, and be like, "Oh, there's a 1 to 5 right there, or there's a 4 to 1." They're everywhere. All right, hope this helps. Peace.